All right, Jacob, how about now, dude? You should be able to hear me. I see my mic going crazy now that I'm talking. Good? Yeah. Yeah, this is that's because you're deaf. Let me All right, how about now? How's that sound? Any better? Better, better? All right, good. Yeah, I have to yeah. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Can you still hear me okay? Cuz I broke. Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm just playing with this right now. Yeah. Yeah. I've had a few people ask me, so I just want. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Better? Good to go? All right, cool. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I want to be able to get where I can use this better mic because I don't want to use the headset because this mic is actually pretty good. I'm not familiar enough with it to do the get all the settings and stuff like that. So, all right. So let's close this. Let's go in here. What do I need? Close that. We can close that. I don't know. Did you go and check out before what I said with the where you could click on the character and it'd show you your D&D Beyond page? Yeah, it's pretty nifty. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you guys update your D&D Beyond sheet as we're going, then you would. You don't have to. You don't have to. However you guys want to maintain your character sheets doesn't matter to me. This is. I am not a professional streamer or anything. It's just something that I wanted to give it a shot just to see. So yeah. Yep. Good. I like it. Yeah. I'm just sort of clearing things up right now. Why do I have this up twice? Okay, I only need it once. And that. Why am I not hearing astral? That's bothering me. I no idea. Yeah, I don't think I've ever accidentally killed a level one. Why is my sound not coming through from Astral now? I'm not getting anything from Astral though. As I'm saying, I am not now. That's why I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah. Why am I not hearing it though? What lock? What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see. Yeah. Yeah. It was saying automatic default. Now it's saying allow. Why is it? What the hell? It was playing earlier today, but I got nothing now. Hola. Buenos tacos. Okay. We got it. I am literally getting no sound out of Astro, and I have no idea why. Yeah, yeah. Well, what happened? What happened was the sometimes if I accidentally mute it, when I unmute it, it comes back at 100%. But I am literally getting no freaking sound out of this thing. What in the hell is going on? Now I know what it is. I got it. Yeah. Yep. I got it. Yep. I got it. I was like, oh, it was set on a wrong Realtek. That's why. Okay. All right. Let's see who we got. And that's interesting. All right. So it looks like we've got everybody except Will. Will already told me that he may or may not. Well, he will be here, but he's going to be late. He was not happy at his baseball league. Apparently, when he first started this, they said it's going to be weekends but no Fridays. But now they're saying, yeah, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You could have games. So whatever he's doing, we may or may not be here. So all right. So one last thing I want to do. Let me go with that. Okay. So you just let us know when you're ready to go, and we will kick things off. Okay. Just, just work. That's all I want. Just work. Okay. So for those that weren't here last week, last Thursday on our session 0, welcome to session 1. Um, Woo! If you guys did not already know, I set up a little Twitch stream um, just because I wanted to check it out. If you have not been there, you can actually go there and watch the stream, and it actually has. If you sort of put your mouse over the video, a D&D Beyond navigation bar will appear along the left-hand side, and you can click on a character, and it'll show the D&D Beyond character sheet. Live updates, by the way. So if you happen to update your D&D Beyond sheet, then that will automatically update on the stream as well. It takes like a second or two, but relatively real time. Um, Perrenland Adventures. I posted it in chat a while back on Discord if you haven't. If, again, it's and like I said before, this is just something I wanted to try just to see how it works. I do not expect you guys to say that you're going to stream at all or video, but if you ever do, just let me know ahead of time and we can kind of get that set up so I can import your feed into the Twitch as it is right now. I just have little static picture boxes with you guys so that at least people will know who you are and what you are, etc. So that's just kind of, again, it was just something that I want to set up. Some of my friends on Discord that are Greyhawk folks were interested in seeing whether or not I was going to stream or not, so we are. So anyway, so for those that did not make it last week, typically what we do every session is we'll kind of recap a little bit on what happened last session. What I do want to do though, because I know that not everybody was here, just a quick recap on some of the rules. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but just a quick recap on some of the house rules. For example, the rest rule, meaning you can only have 3 rests per day, 2 short and a long, or 3 short rests per day. You can't, so that means you can't go into combat, have a short rest, go into combat, have a short rest, etc. Rests have to be at least 4 hours apart. And the reason we say that you can have 3 short rests is because it may come to a point where you can't actually have a long rest. So we want to make sure you know you can at least have a 3rd short rest if it does come to that. As far as healing and stuff goes, it's a little bit, it's not quite as hardcore as making a long rest a week long, but then again, it is also a little bit tougher because a lot of the healing could depend upon somebody having a medicine check and or a healer's kit. Again, I'm not going to go through all the rules on what you can do specifically as far as healing, but for example, on a long rest, you can get hit points equal to half your hit die rounded up. So for example, a 9th level character can get 5 hit dice worth of hit points back. So a long rest is kind of like a short rest now, but you don't get like 1 hit die per level. It's only half. And then on a short rest, you get 1 hit die for every 4 levels, right? So on a short rest, if you're a 4th level, you only get 1 hit die to get your healing back. Critical injuries, we talked about that a little bit. When you get down to 10% of your hit points, you have a level of exhaustion with the potential for 2 levels of exhaustion, all the way down to if you get 0 hit points, that's 2 levels of exhaustion, bless you, with the potential of 3 levels of exhaustion, right? And for every death save, it adds on another level of exhaustion. So theoretically, at 6 levels of exhaustion, you would be dead anyway. So that kind of works out. Cantrips, that's the other one for you spell slingers. Cantrips are not unlimited. Cantrips are based on what your score is for your casting ability. So if you have an 18 charisma and your charisma is your casting ability, you can have 18 cantrips before you have to have a resting period. You can trade 2 for 1, 2 cantrips for each level of a spell slot. So if you want to cast a 3rd level spell slot, then you would need 6. You could trade in 6 cantrips for a single 3rd level slot, or vice versa. You can trade in 1 3rd level spell slot for 6 cantrips, right? So it kind of works. It's pretty much still unlimited cantrips, but it's not quite unlimited if you happen to get into a long period where you're not able to rest, which potentially could happen. And the last one is about lighting. Everybody has special vision. You're not going to like be spreading your germs all over this map now, are you? Okay, let's. So lighting will affect your vision if you have dark vision or some sort of enhanced vision. The only ones that does not count is if you have some kind of a magical vision where you can like see in darkness or whatever, but it's a magical spell. Magic trumps all, so lighting would not affect that. However, if you have like dark vision and you're in the lighted area of a torch, you would have to get to at least the dimly lit area before your vision will start to work. If you're in the brightly lit zone of a lighted area, then your vision is basically worthless. So that being said, let's kind of kick off what we did last week. The town of Christchurch is located in the canton of Traft. A canton is basically a state. So the country is Perrenland. The states are called cantons, or cantons, if you will. And the canton of Traft is based on the major city called Traft. Now, Christchurch is a small former mining community. Um, Decades ago, it was sort of overrun with a lot of the humanoids and creatures coming out of the mountains. The mines weren't really producing as much as they would hope, so they sort of abandoned them. And of course, the town fell to ruin. Um, Post Greyhawk Wars, now people are coming back in. The dwarves have reopened the mines. They found some new veins of ore that they're able to mine, and so people are starting to influx into this region to kind of build it back up. And Christchurch is sort of at the bleeding edge of this particular mining zone. Um, each one of you, for various reasons, found yourselves traveling to this little small mining community. The date is the ninth day of Fireseek. The year is 586. Fireseek is basically January, so it's January 9th of 586 if you look at it in our terms. The weather outside is as you would expect in the northern regions. It is cold. The average temperature today has been probably about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So you guys have been traipsing around in the snow for the better part of the day, just trying to figure out what's going on. Coming to town looking for work, you guys met an individual named Oswald. Now, Oswald is from, for lack of a better term, he's a coroner. He was sent up from the Inquisitors Guild in Traft to investigate the death of an individual by the name of Johann Thames. Johann Thames was a knight in the army, basically, and he was a rather well-known individual, a leader, and a veteran of several campaigns, including the Battle of Ironstead, which is where the mercenaries and the mercenaries of Perrenland and the elves of the High Folk on the other side of the mountains from where you guys are now beat back the hordes of humanoids and demons and devils and whatnot that were plaguing the lands. So he was a rather well-known individual in the world that you live in. Well, he happened to settle in this area, and he recently had passed away. And because of the fact that the government high folks, they want to know what's what and who's who and how people died, etc. They could care less about the little guy, but when somebody of the stature of Sir Johann Thames dies, they want to know what happened. And obviously, he's here to make sure the taxes and all the fees and everything are paid from the estate, and they go back to the government. So that's why he's here. And he basically hired you guys to help him figure out what happened to Sir Thames. Well, unfortunately, you never even got a chance to figure out what happened to Sir Thames, because as soon as you guys arrived, the very next morning, the owner of the inn is a half-orc female by the name of Sog. Now, Sog woke you guys early in the morning, just after sunrise, to go outside, standing in the freezing cold, to find a body face down in the snow. Now, this individual wound up being the former mayor of the town, who is now a farmer who lives a couple hours outside of town with his daughter. And so you guys decided to go investigate. Now, Otto, the man who hired you, was not very happy about you guys doing that. And even if he agreed that you guys needed to, he wasn't really into it. He has a job to do with Sir Thames. And so he's been grumbling at you guys from the very beginning about all the things that you're doing that don't include investigating the death of Sir Johann Thames. So, first bit of investigation, you found that this individual died from a huge slash along the back. You did then find some tracks in the snow. Interestingly enough, although they weren't very identifiable, they were very spread apart, so it looked like somebody was running with a very big lope or a gait, I should say, where they had very long stride, perhaps magical stride even. I think you guys had mentioned at one time, but unfortunately you followed it into the woods and didn't get very far. So the rest of the morning and afternoon you guys spent going out to George Gilly's house. George Gilly is the former mayor who was slain, that you were investigating to death. You went out to his farmhouse and you found that the farmhouse had been abandoned for a few days. The windows were open. Snow had been blown into the house, so obviously nobody had been home for the past few days, and you had been expecting to see his daughter there. And when she wasn't there, you guys sort of searched around and investigate and found that inside the house somebody had ripped up the floorboards and found a lockbox. Um, a little extra searching, and Hyacinth reached up into the rafters with the help of Naola to find a key in the rafters that unlocked this lockbox. So whoever found it couldn't get into it. There were scratch marks all over it. Looked like they were trying to beat on it in some way. But unfortunately, no key, no getting into the lock. So you guys unlocked it, and inside you found a letter. For those that weren't on the message that I sent last week, if you go to the handouts, um, there is a letter from to Erin Gilly. Erin is the daughter's name. Um, Along with this letter, you guys found what looks to be an old arrowhead that has been covered in silver and made into some kind of a talisman or a necklace. And so the letter explains that George Gilly is very proud of his daughter and thinks she's going to do great things, and that he had found this and he felt it was good luck, so he wanted to give it to her. But apparently he never got the opportunity to because the man is now dead and his daughter is missing. Um, you did some more investigation around the farm. There was a barn with some animals. Looked like one of the animals was missing, a cow or a horse perhaps. But there was a cow there along with some pigs. But you did find some tracks. Tracks looked like they were small human-sized feet alongside of a large dog, or from the looks of things, perhaps a wolf, but a wolf of rather large size. Um, but once again, after 2 hours or so of trailing through the woods, you guys lost the track, and so the rest of the day was spent getting back to Christchurch. So you guys now find yourselves back in Christchurch in the inn. The name of the inn is the Gorgeous Dwarf, and you are sitting around the table here, sort of mulling over what's next. It's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if you want to think of it in that terms. There are a few people in here eating and whatnot. Most of the conversation has been revolved around what's been going on lately, because as you guys have been going through this investigation, you're finding out that George Gilly and Sarah Thames are not the first two people to die recently. Animals have been killed. Apparently, there was a fight between a dwarf and somebody else here in the bar, and that somebody else ended up dying as well. So that's still sort of in the air, what's going on. People are really afraid of what's going on, and so you've had these questions asked pretty much since you got here. You know, what's going on, who did this, what's next, or who's next, etc. So like I said, you guys now find yourself back in the inn. Sog has served your meals, or whatever you need to drink and whatnot, and let's kick off the story and pick it up for tonight's session. What do we want to do? Or we could just do nothing. Yep, we can hear you. Correct, the gorgeous dwarf. Yes, yes. So there, you guys were speaking to a gentleman by the name of Farth. Um, so Farth is actually a huge individual. He's actually says that he comes from the north, and north of here is not a lot. North of here is a country called Blackmore. So Farth Bearhorn looks like a rather large Grizzly Adams type of an individual, wearing furs and thick clothing with a heavy beard. Very, very stocky. Looks like that he packs on the pounds for the winter, right? Um, and Amek, your clerical dwarf who isn't here yet, he paid 1 gold coin to Farth for him to go tend to the animals in the absence of Aaron, and now, of course, her father George being dead. And oh, you're correct. Sorry, Halvard's not here. You are correct. My fault. Yes, yes, you are correct. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So last year, as Farth tells you, and you've actually learned through sort of he was more along the lines of he confirmed some of the things you guys had heard during your initial investigation that last year there was a wolf pack that attacked several animals and people, and George Gilly's daughter was killed by this pack of wolves, and his daughter Erin almost died from this pack of wolves. And so the hunter and his son lived just on the outskirts of Crestridge. As you're leaving Crestridge to the north, they're like the last house leaving town, or if you're coming into town from the north, they're the first house that you guys um, would come to. The name of the boy is Victor. Victor Alfier, Alphear, for those that take notes. Victor Alfier is the boy. His father was just known as a hunter. You never got a name of his father or anything like that. But obviously, he was a well-known hunter, and they sort of took up a posse and went out and they hunted back, and they came back with, 4 or 5 of these large wolf pelts, and nothing's been seen of the wolves since. So, assumedly, they took care of the problem. However, you are correct. If you wanted to go visit him, he is outside town, where he has a little hunting lodge, or a hut, if you will, and he basically is paid to take people out hunting, or perhaps if you need some hunting done, he'll go hunting for you, whatever the case may be. So, yes. So, what's next? Right. Yeah. Yeah. She came back with you guys. Hmm. Yes. You. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So she, uh, what was her name? Galliana Schaefer. She runs Galliana's Goods, which is basically the general store. She runs that, and so you did talk to her a little bit, and yes, she did tell you that she, had known the family, had been, and she was more concerned with what was up with Aaron because of what had happened to her daughter, or her little sister, I mean, prior to that. So with all of this information we now have, we have several paths that we can take. You guys just need to decide which path it is. Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? So where to? Okay. All right. So as you guys decide that, by the way, For those that are, I know you guys haven't, you weren't here much last week. I know, well, Corvus, you were. Um, but is there anything that you guys may have missed? I know that was sort of a lot to take in since you missed last week. But is there any like questions that you had about where we're at or what we're doing or what the overall goal is here as we kind of get going here? Because I don't want you to feel like you guys don't have a say in what's going on because I definitely want you guys to be involved. Uh, Search in the sense that you guys did a once over to see what kind of or how he died. When you guys found him, and by the way, he is the former mayor, right? So he used to be the mayor. He was actually the previous mayor. He gave up the job for whatever reason after his daughter died and moved outside of town to sort of manage a small farm out there. So when you did the investigation, the only thing you really found was that he was wearing normal clothing, nothing special, whatever. But he had a huge straight razor slash, like from the top of one shoulder down to his right hip. Looked like it probably severed his spine on the way down. So a very large blade of some kind, possibly. Definitely not done by hand, or even if somebody had like a clawed hand, because it would have to be like a huge giant size hand or whatever that could have done something like that. So the general consensus was that it was a large blade of some kind that, say again? Yeah, right, exactly. So, uh, I'm sorry, say that one more time, Jacob. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Hunter's Lodge it is. Yes. So you guys step outside into the snowstorm, and as I said, the last building on the north end of town is the Hunter's Lodge, if you will. Um, it's um, just a small building, probably 30 feet by 20 feet or something like that, a single story. Um, it has a sign hanging outside with a what looks like a bow and arrow of some kind sort of painted onto it, hanging out over. The place itself looks like sort of a combination home office, if you will. Typical of this small community where a lot of the people live in their places of business, where the front half of the building is the business and the back half is the living area. But you guys sort of step up to the building itself, and before you can even get there, the door creaks open and a head pokes out, and you see this young boy, perhaps 18 and 19 years old, has actually elven features about him, although it doesn't look like he's full blood elf. Wearing just sort of leathers and woodsman type of clothing. He has a pair of thick fur boots on, but they actually have wide bases, so they look like they're actually made for walking in snow very well. And he pokes his head out and goes, "Hello, looking to be go on a hunting expedition, or perhaps maybe need some trapping done or something like that. I sell traps too." So as you say that, his eyes kind of gas down. He's like, "Oh, so you're not looking to hire out then?" "Oh, well then, what information did you need, ma'am?" As he sort of perks up a little bit and steps outside to join you. My father. Yes. No, we did not find a den. We tracked and they the last place that they had killed was uh, the Gillies were traveling back from Traft, and they were attacked by these wolves. And the youngest girl, I believe her name was Martha, she was slain. Oh, poor Mayor. He was just so upset. Um, so my father gathered some of us from town, and we hunted them down. Took us a few days, but it was a rather large pack. We managed to get the most of them, and unfortunately, we lost my father at the same time. But it was a yes, it was a bad time. Thank you. Abnormally large. Uh, uh, well, I understand what abnormally large means. I'm trying to think on why would a wolf be abnormally large, but um, no, I don't think so. They were large, but any wolf in this area, thick fur, plenty of game. They were. He sort of looks at you funny and no, nothing that large, sir. I'm sorry. I believe we got six or even seven wolves that day. They were good sized beasts, but nothing that matches the description you say. I've never seen anything that large in this area. Okay, what are we thinking? Well, if it's part of that original pack, then that's they're very nomadic. These animals. I don't see them coming back here, especially after licking their wounds the way they did. But I suppose it's possible. They are animals and they are looking for food. Um, I can perhaps go scout for you and see if I find anything, but these past weeks I've been out almost daily and I've never encountered any track that matches anything like what you are saying. The Gilly Farm? Yeah, I have a straight a straight fee, sir. It is 2 silver pieces for the actual hunt itself, along with you provide me with the food required for however long we plan to be on the trail. So if you wish me to go for one day, then it would be 2 silver pieces plus a day's worth of rations, and the same amount for every day after that. Right. $6 silver pieces, and we will be perfectly fine, sir. Well, well, I know Halvard has like 5 days worth of rations with him. Um, yeah, so maybe he even has 10, right? So, and for information, yeah, information. Well, that's what I'm saying. You guys have your stuff back in your rooms at the inn, right? So I'm not saying you're carrying it with you, but so if you wanted to, you just decide who's going to give up the 3 days of food, deduct it from your sheets, and he will be glad to do as you ask. 3 days of investigation, you say? Okay. Okay. So, yep. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Cool. All right. So where are we off to now? Okay. That's fine. Yep. So as you guys are turning around and heading back to find Oswald and Sir Tames's home, you see Galliena. I'm not Galliena, but Henriette. So Henriette, as I described before, is an older lady, probably in her 60s, early 70s. Word is that at one time she used to dabble in magic, or she knows magic, and she just doesn't. She's not a practitioner anymore. She's more of like a librarian type now. She maintains a research area and books and stuff like that. And so you see her sort of following after this other really old lady, and this old lady is probably in her 80s easily. Very thin and very waved. She has a very tight bun on the back of her head, and they're like arguing back and forth. Now, you've seen this older lady before, and you realize that she's the town locksmith. Um, and so she's sort of going toward the Gorgeous Dwarf entry, and Henriette is following after her. And they're arguing about something, but you're not sure what from this distance. But it just seems sort of like something of note that you guys notice as you're turning around and heading back toward Sir Tame's house. Now, you don't know exactly where Sir Tame's house is, but you know where the Richter is. Richter is the Perrenland name for basically the town sheriff or the law, the judge, if you will. So uh, over here, I don't know if you can see where I'm clicking it, and it's sort of making the little surf. So that's the Richter's here. So that's where Oswald has been hanging out, and that's where you know that you can find him there um, to find out what's next. So, where to? We go into the Richter, or are we going to do further investigation on something else? Okay. So you guys make it down to the constabulary's place, and you can see that the back half of this building is actually made of solid block, and it has a few barred windows. So apparently they have a cell here in addition to the judge's offices. Inside, as you walk in, you see Oswald in all his pompous glory, sipping on some kind of a brandy out of a little metal cup, which looks to be made of perhaps brass or some similar type of metal. And as you walk in, he has his face is kind of puffy red, and his hair is just done just so as all pompous politicians are. And he looks at you and he goes, are you finally done? So now we can get to business. Well, well, let's go. We have business to do. I'm done with this silly gilly business. Let's go. and he takes you guys out of the offices and leads you right down the road to the just inside a wooded area. You can see a nice, small, well-kept home along with the grounds that are around the home. Um, let me. Why is it not? There we go. Wow, that's crazy. It wasn't letting me move you guys. Oh, hang on a second here. I don't know why it put all you guys inside the house when you shouldn't be inside the house. That's pretty bizarre. So you guys find yourself outside this well-made home. You can see off to the right there's a pile of wood, an old cart, as well as similar to what you saw out at the Gilly farm, you see that there is a shed of some kind. It's a single-story house, a nice thatched roof, and again, the grounds are actually fairly well kept. Even though there's snow everywhere, the grounds are fairly well kept where you guys are right now. So, um, and what do we want to do? The house itself appears to be closed up. Um, I don't know if it's because of what happened or it was already locked up or whatever, but so what's up? What are we gonna do? Apparently, you haven't checked, right? So that's why we're here. Door is locked. Yes, yes, Oswald is with you. No. Do I look like Sir Tame's boy? I'm sorry, what'd you say, Amick? Hang on. You were pretty faint there, Amick. What'd you say? Oh, sorry. I saw you had moved around the side of the house. I thought you had said something. Sorry. Yep, I think that's the if you move, so this has dynamic lighting. So if you move your character a little bit, whatever you see, you can see line of sight. So yeah, yep, which is correct. So you should actually be able to see Corvus. I think you could see Corvus. You should be able to just see him down because he's just within your vision. However, uh, why are you inside the house? Now you're Oh, well now you're no longer inside the house. Now you're no longer. That's what I said. I put you guys there. I put you all in a house. I'm like, why did you put you in a house? Stupid map. So anyway, as you walk around the side, Amic, you do actually notice that in the back left-hand corner, you can see some bushes and whatnot. It looks like the starting of a garden back there. So Sir Tames, whatever he was doing, looked like he was starting to build a garden with some bushes, perhaps rose bushes or perhaps other hardy plants that grow on these kind of terrain, which is kind of rocky um, compared to the thick, fertile farmlands that are down more at sea level. You guys are up a little bit in the highlands and stuff like that, so it's a little more rocky terrain here. So, but anyway, regardless, it looks like he was a horticulturist of some kind, or at least a promising or prospective horticulturist, if you will. But you do find there are windows around the house as well, but all the windows are shuttered. Um, However, they don't have any locks or anything hanging on the shutters, so it's well, there's only one level to the house. There's only one level. The house is not a two-story; it's a single story. Yeah, exactly. a paned window glass and whatnot, so not difficult to break it if you wanted to go that route. Um, Amec, I'm moving you up toward the corner of the house. There's a window there as well. And it's similar to what I just told Hyacinth. It's a shuttered window. Opening the shutters, you see that there is a paned window behind it, but it appears to be locked from the inside. So again, you see nothing. Corvus, anything that you wanted to do? Okay, so where you're at right there, as I said, you had the beginnings of sort of a garden of some kind there with some nice bushes, and it looks like some straight rows have been carved out. They're just sort of snowed in right now. You can see the back of the house has three windows, two smaller ones and one larger one. Um, and again, they're all shuttered, just like the other two that have been described. So this window here, this window here, this is actually a window right here. Um, you see that they're all shuttered and closed, um, but none of them have any locks or anything on them. Okay, give me what would we want to do to like a thieves tools or a pick or something like that? What kind of a skill you think we should use to do that? Um, right, right. Yep, that's what I was going to think. So go ahead and first of all, give me an investigation check, Corvus, just so you can. Um, uh, wow, that's a 15, right? Yeah. How's that? Who said 18? Is there a plus? Oh yeah, yeah. You had the perception. Yeah. All right. So Corvus. Yep, that's fine. So Corvus, you actually managed to find a way to jiggle that window up enough where you can kind of reach in your skinny little arm up and around to undo the latch so you can get the door or the window itself open. It's cool. So as you guys hear coming from the back of the house, that Corvus has found a way into the house. Uh, So you guys have a choice. You can do that, or Corvus, as you enter into the house. I was going to say, yep. So if you want to, as you see that he has opened the door, um, if you guys all want to enter into the house, um, yeah. So right, yep, yeah. Let me move you over. So right there is the front door. Yep, and as you step into the house. And so what I am going to do, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make it easy on you guys. Where is my dynamic lighting? And here we go. Um, Dynamic lighting off. Here we go. Better? Cool. I know, just to get you guys in the house, just to learn how to use it. It's going to take me a while to get this, but we'll be fine. So you guys enter into the house, and you find that it is a well-kept exterior, obviously, and he seemed to have a penchant for gardening, as I explained already. Inside, you guys find the house is sort of dusty and it's in disarray, but it's not like somebody trashed the place. It's like, I don't know, maybe looking through stuff, he just kind of threw stuff around or whatever. But he obviously does not appear to have been meticulous on the inside of the house as he was on the outside of the house. You can see that the house itself is really just a couple of rooms. He has a large room for eating on one side. He's got a sitting area by the fireplace with a stack of wood next to it, a writing table, and there's also a door leading into the bedroom. And I'm about ready to have Bird for dinner if he doesn't stop squawking. Yeah. So, what are we going to do, guys? Let's start with Amic. Amic, we're going to get you guys involved whether you want to or not. What do you want to do? Okay, so go ahead and move yourself to where you're going to be searching at. Just to. All right, so go ahead and give me an investigation check, please, sir. There's several different ways to do it. You can click on your character sheet inside Roll20. I mean, not Roll20, inside the Astral if you want. If you know the scripts, you can do it in chat as well. D&D Beyond, for some reason, wasn't working for me today. It rolled the dice, but it wasn't sending it to chat. So if you do it that way, I'm just going to need to know what your role is. Ooh, for whatever reason, your vision is really disoriented in here, and as you're bending over, you actually bump your head into the wall, leaving yourself a knot as you're looking around. But yeah, you absolutely, yeah, you find nothing. As a matter of fact, you just stand in the corner for a little while because you're in trouble because you find absolutely, absolutely nothing with that one. And I just went back to our stream. Appreciate everybody that's in here, kind of checking us out to see how things are going. I appreciate it. Lord Gazumba, master of his domain, Mr. Greyhawk streamer himself, was, I don't know if he's still there, but he was. We appreciate you guys checking us out for our very first live session. Um, so anyway, Amic, again, you find nothing. Searching in that corner, looks like he was eating, and there's some dishes and stuff out on the table, but like half-eaten food. So like maybe he left it there. Other than that, you really find nothing. What about you, Corvus? Anything that you want to do while you're in here? Yeah, you're not Corvus. You're